Good morning, guys. Welcome back to another trading session here. Well, it is Wednesday. No, it's not Wednesday, it's Thursday. So it is Thursday, and yeah, we are approaching the end of the week. Indices are almost touching all-time highs here on NQ and ES. And yeah, let's get straight into the charts. I hope you're doing well, first of all. Yeah, sometimes I forget to ask you guys if you're well or not. I hope so, and I hope that you guys are trading well as well. So yeah, it is time for us to go straight into the charts and look for some possible playouts and look for something on price action. So looking at price action from yesterday's action. So yesterday was another day, one of those days where price just seeked and destroyed everyone until 11 o'clock in the morning, as you can see here. There was nothing that I could do here, honestly. I don't like these types of price action whenever you have some type of if you look here, you can see that this reminds me of a megaphone where the highs are taken and the lows as well. So whenever price is just like this, you have to consider yourself removing yourself outside of the trading environment and wait for something clearer. Well, something happened clearer just happened right at 11. I mentioned here when I was ending the stream that we could eventually go to the downside, reaching for London and Asia lows, and that really happened. Unfortunately, my plan is to search something in between 9:30 to 11, and yeah, was not on time to enter here, and yeah, just missed the opportunity to go short. But ultimately, I respected my plan, and that's what we have to do as traders. We must respect our plans and not violate the plans for any type of opportunity that we can just see on the market. So price came a little bit further down. It retraced to this 4-hour fair value gap. As you can see here, it was not able to close below it, and then it retraced back higher, and eventually in between Asia and London, as usual. The last couple of days have been quite like this. Price is moving a lot in between Asia and London, and yeah, we expanded higher using this N walk as a trampoline, and this one once again. So this one we break through it and kind of reached for support right above it. So right now price is somehow consolidating. If you see here, in between these highs and these lows, price is doing nothing. So I wonder that this might be some kind of accumulation here. We had some type of a manipulation here to the downside, taking out these lows on London. And yeah, let's look at what we can eventually frame for today's action. Right now we have some type of a low resistance liquidity here, where you can see this kind of a staircase where every high is lower than the other one. So price may reach for it right at the open and take out the liquidity that is here. At the same time, we form some type of a relative equal lows here. And yeah, price has been ranging right before 9:30 and is now trying to get out of this range prior to 9:30. If you look into higher time frames, it is kind of hard to be bearish right now. But if we look at a bigger picture, price has been moving since the last swing low. Price has been moving to the upside, respecting this standard deviation, as you can see here. So price really stopped at minus 1.5, which is the first pit stop from usually expansions suffer, and eventually in between 2 and minus 2.5, price starts to slow down a bit and eventually retrace back lower. So at this point, we can eventually expect that price will continue a little bit higher in between minus 2 and minus 2.5, but we can eventually accept that price will eventually come a little bit lower to retrace and take out this liquidity around Asia and London. It is acceptable for price to just continue higher because it kind of manipulated here already. We have a 1 hour fair value gap here that was kind of respected, as you can see here. So we can have the case that price will continue higher here, eventually entering minus 2 and stretching for minus 2.5, taking out this daily fair value gap. But we can also expect something like this, price trying to reach lower, taking out this wick here, and eventually midnight open, and then gathering some more liquidity here just to go back to the upside. Yeah, so far this is some kind of a tricky market. It's not been easy to frame our plans. It's not been easy to trade it as well, and especially the New York AM session has not been that easy to trade, since it's not offering us clean setups just like we wanted to see. So keep that in mind, and eventually don't try to FOMO into something that you're not sure about. So try to frame something whenever you have the confidence that, okay, price already took what it had to take, and now we will move further on a bullish or bearish side. So right now there's nothing to expect from price, honestly, because we are still ranging here. As you can see, this is a no man's land, so price can do whatever he wants inside of a consolidation here. So it can come here, take out this high, then move here, take out this low, move once again higher, and yeah, it can do whatever it wants. So we shall eventually wait for price to get outside of this area, and then eventually frame a plan. So keep that in mind, guys, and yeah, this is what I'm expecting. Oh, I would like to mention to you guys, if you zoom in, and there's also on NQ. Yeah, NQ. Let me just check here. Yeah, I was seeing, where is it? Yeah, it's more explicit on NQ. This is a flat candle, so it has no wicks on NQ, which means there's a lot of liquidity here below, and it's the 11 p.m. candle. So let me just zoom in a little bit. 11 p.m. candle, 11 p.m., 11 p.m. So yeah, it's right in the middle of the Asia range, but price can eventually seek for that liquidity as well. So let's wait and see what price will offer us in the next couple of minutes. As you can see, we are already having some action here. But as you can see as well, these candles are kind of strange. So this is typical of a summer price action where the volatility just goes away, and now you are um, now you are now the market offers you lower and smaller volatility. Notice that this swing here is just a six handle, and it took 31 minutes to come here. So yeah, get used to it, because the next couple of weeks and eventually the month of July and August will be just like this. Yeah, so 9:30 open. This is the opening candle. Notice that when price was somewhere here, I mentioned that it will probably take out this staircase to the downside. This is all stops that are gathered here. So whenever you see something that clean, yeah, just be suspicious about it. It doesn't mean that we will take that trade to the upside. It just means that price will eventually take out this liquidity first and then do something. So it is trying to take out the liquidity, and now let's see what it will do. I will close my window because I'm hearing a lot of noise coming from the outside. I don't know if you guys are hearing it or not, but I will close it. Yeah, better now. So 9:30 open is done. And now let's just see if price will continue expand higher, or if we will retrace a little bit lower first. Because I still believe that we will move to all-time highs. It's, I guess it's just a matter of time. But the way we will do it, it's kind of a mystery to everybody. So it's not easy to frame trades whenever we are near all-time highs. It's one of the trickiest markets that you can face. So all-time highs is, keep that in mind. It's always hard to frame trades. So nice displacement on NQ here, taking out this liquidity. ES is kind of behind NQ. Seems like NQ is moving a bit lower. It already took this sell side liquidity here. So ES is pushing higher while NQ already took these lows here. It already took this low as well. So it's kind of a mixed and a symmetrical market right now. So whenever you have NQ and ES performing asymmetrical moves, yeah, keep in mind that you might face low probability conditions. So price can eventually go to your target and to your drawn liquidity, but it will not do it in a clean way, and it can eventually stomp you out from the trade. So keep that in mind. So right now, NQ is trying to get get this liquidity that I was mentioned in the first minutes of the stream, uh, purging all the liquidity. Remember that whenever you see something like this, it means that there are a lot of stops here. So these are all stops, and yeah, eventually price will try to take them just to get a little bit more of liquidity before heading to somewhere. So right now, ES is trying to move lower, and Q seems to be the weaker sister here. So NQ is really playing here down below, while ES is trying to hold near the open, near 8:30 open and 9:30 open. So yeah, NQ really taking that flat candle that I mentioned before, is trying to get to it. And ES moving to the downside as well. So at this point, it's kind of hard to frame anything here on ES since it's just stuck here. Let me take this to a minute before, if I can see here something cleaner. Yeah. See, this is what I was talking about, the low probability market. So you might get wicked like this. And at this point, it seems like ES will try to move behind NQ. So I guess this should be a valid position here. But honestly, I'm not liking how price is just wicking here, not giving us momentum. Yeah, at this point, I will take this out because we are kind of asymmetrical in between ES and NQ. So this is the first presented fair value gap. We left some. Let me just check here the regular trading hours just to see what price is trying to do here on ES because it's really different from NQ at this point. NQ trying to push higher while ES is still stuck inside the range. NQ trying to move to another low, another run to the downside. Well, so far, yes, did not make anything. NQ way cleaner than ES. But it seems like we will get some if NQ just continues driving lower. Yeah, kind of funny here. ES really doing nothing since the open. So it is kind of funny to see how price can be different on indices that are kind of brother and sister. I guess the purge of liquidity is done here on NQ. So we might move higher from now. But honestly, I'm not liking how ES is behaving. Look at it. Just look at this. The first minutes, every high has been taken, every low has been taken. So once again, what do we have here? It's just like a megaphone pattern. Um, yeah, and I don't like these conditions at all. See, no, another low has been taken. Can you trust a market like this? It's kind of hard. It's kind of hard to trust anything like this. Let's see if we will have some momentum to the downside here. So if I was trading NQ, and it seems like NQ is way cleaner than ES, at this point I would have been a short have should have been triggered. Um, ES really, I don't know what to say honestly. We are just barcoding on ES, and it's really been barcoding since 3 a.m. in the morning. If you can see, as you can see here, it's yeah, it's just ranging, but now it's an assumed barcode here. price is still inside the wick here. As you can see, wicks can be treated as gaps as well. So we have to keep in mind that price can eventually explore 50% of the wick and then eventually retrace to the upside, since it left some liquidity here, as you can see as well. But yeah, NQ is pushing to the downside. It already made a run to the downside, honestly, while ES is just stubborn and yeah, not moving at all. So at this point, it just, since the open, we moved like, let me just check here. Where's the open? Here it is. Yeah, we moved 3 handles, so that's nothing. I'm extremely zoomed in. NQ is pushing further down. Let me just see if we get another low here. Let me just switch to the 2 minutes, and yeah, let me see. We are inside a macro right now, or ES. But yeah, it seems like ES does not want to come down. It's really giving me bad vibes here. At this point, I'm inclined to see if ES wants to go higher, um, because NQ already took sell side liquidity. ES didn't, but it might not need to. Yeah, another low that was taken, but we moved back inside the range once again. So yeah, these are really hard conditions here. I really don't like how price is acting right now. Well, some people tend to ask me why I choose ES and do not move to NQ, since lately NQ has been a bit cleaner. And yeah, there are some reasons. First of all, I've learned with NQ, and I would like to stick with it just because of discipline. I would like to be faithful to what I trade. And yes, second, I guess it's better if you would like to use partials. It allows you to use partials, and on NQ it's kind of harder to take some partials because you are playing with less contracts, and because of the size that and the and how it moves way more than ES, and because of that you have to go in with less contracts than you would have to if you're trading ES. On ES you can, in a market like this you can, let me just do a simulation here. Imagine that I would take this stop, a 2.5 handle, 2.75 handle stop. Yeah, it would me allow to take 14 micros. So that's a lot, and that's that's good to take partials, you know. But yeah, that's not possible on NQ, because if you do such thing on NQ, you will be um, on a margin call. So yeah, see, ES is still inside the range here. NQ moved lower. It took out that flat candle that I was telling you about on the first minutes of the stream. And it seems like it took, let me just check here, this week. Yeah, it came for 50% of this week, and seems like it will now run a little bit higher. But in order to do so, I would like to see price coming above the first presented fair value gap, because it can act as a big resistance here. And yeah, that's it, I guess. Let me just check if this breaker here will hold. Yeah, NQ just had a good reaction from that liquidity purge. Yes, looking good here. But unfortunately, we are still inside this chaos. It's not that clean yet. Price trying to get above first presented fair value gap and above 830 open as well. At this point, we have a huge SMT in between ES and NQ. nice push here from ES to the upside. And yeah, unfortunately, I was not able to catch this. It never offered as a retrace back into the breaker. And right now we have this breaker, and yeah, probably we will have another breaker here. So if price really comes here, I would like to see it kind of hold. Let's see if we get a retrace back to the first presented fair value gap. This point we have SMT at the top as well. So things are kind of mixed. But price is reacting real good here. So let's see if we have yes, retracing a bit here. It would be interesting to see, but I would like to see that retrace holding. $9.50 macro to 10.10. It really gave us the move to the upside. The best entry was in fact here when I noted when I marked here the breaker, but yeah, it barely retraced it to, so it was kind of hard to frame anything. And Q is just starting to retrace. ES doing the same. So buy side is now taken. And let's see if these PD arrays, these bullish PD arrays fail, or if it will just retrace from here to the upside. So far the breaker is holding. So far 830 is acting as support here. Yeah, so the 950 1010 macro offered as a 10 handle move. Yeah, 15 from bottom to top. Not that enticing, honestly. Yeah, so far price came down here to equilibrium. First presented fair value gap here as well, and now it's trying to get away from the breaker. Mm, But looking into the 15-minute, you can see that price is still stuck since 3 a.m. It's been here. We are back into 8:30 open. So it's kind of hard to frame anything right now. Now I see some type of reaction here on ES. But looking into NQ, seems like NQ made a good run to the upside, but it's far away from equilibrium. Yeah, we are still observing here. Um, as you can see, price it moved about 15 handles, but nothing more than that. So taking a risk for 15 handles, it doesn't seem reasonable. is not willing to close above these red candles here, that would give us an order block to trust the continuation to the upside. But so far, no close above these candles. Let me just take a measure of how far price came down to the opening range gap. So opening range quarters. Yeah, it really came for 25%. Let me just take this from the downside to the upside. So yeah, ES just made a retrace to 25% of the opening range gap. So in theory, that would say that could say that price is very bullish. It will not retrace lower, but at the same time, I don't see anything here that can eventually trigger my long. We are outside the macro as well. So yeah, so far no positions, no trades yet. It's kind of hard to frame anything when price is just retracing like this. I believe we will go higher, but kind of hard to trust anything when you see price doing this. And yeah, it kind of discourages you from taking anything. Yeah, nice reaction here on the breaker. This was eventually the entry that we should have taken here. But since price was not that clear, I held myself back. And keep in mind that we are uh, touching and visiting for the first time the daily CB, this daily bearish fair value gap. So price can eventually react to it as well. But at this point, let me just take a measure of rejection here, just to see how far we are in price. Yeah, -4 standard deviation stands for the midpoint of the CB. So there's a lot of confluence here. So fair value gaps, bullish fair value gaps are starting to appear as well. Let's just see how we will treat this fair value gap. That might be decisive here. Yeah, so far a nice reaction from this bullish fair value gap here. Price trying to come once again here. So at this point, the only thing that's preventing me from taking a long here, it's really the daily fair value gap and the SMT that it's between NQ and ES. Otherwise, if things were aligned and if we did have this daily CB, I would have taken this trade here. But I guess things are not that clear. Yeah, price is really trying to hold here inside the CB. It will probably give us some speed here to the upside. There we go. It took out the wick. Now let's see if this momentum just holds or if we will go straight down, because price can eventually do some like this. Um, Usually, whenever it approaches -1 standard deviation, it can start some kind of a retrace. But it can eventually start a run as well. Yes, is really pushing higher here. So I guess the SMT on the lows, this SMT here in between ES and NQ, yeah, it could give us a hint that price would move to the upside. But seems like NQ is a bit weaker than ES. Price reaching here for -1.5 standard deviation, and it should give us a run here to -2. So this was the entry that we missed here. We could eventually take out take a long position here. We could eventually enter another position right here. The only thing that really prevented me from doing it is that we are just approaching a daily SIBI, which can eventually um, be a big resistance on price. And yeah, that's why I did not interact with price on ES. But so far, the read was fine, honestly. So this was the manipulation leg to the downside. It took 50% of this wick here, and then we displaced higher the first breaker. It was never touched. Then we had a second breaker and a retrace to the first presented fair value gap, which had a confluence in between 830 open and equilibrium of the leg. So yeah, this was some kind of a clean setup, honestly. But yeah, I did not interact with price because it was feeling kind of strange, honestly. So price already reached -2 standard deviation here. We take a measure about just to see where 25% is. So really nice here. Really nice move to the upside here. Yeah, this this could have been a really good trade here. just let me check here. Yeah, this could have been a really good trade, honestly. It is what it is. Once again, the read was very good. At this point, if you took any long here, you should take out about 80% of your position and wait for price to move higher until -4 standard deviation. So at this point, I will take this out, and yeah. So we will probably have a move from macro to macro. Since price is so bullish, it's kind of in a hurry to reach for all-time highs. So yeah, guys, I guess this was the move for New York AM action. Um, we are approaching 11 in the morning, so I guess this was the move. It can eventually stretch to -4 standard deviation, which has a confluence with the midpoint of the daily fair value gap. But the midpoint of the daily fair value gap. But yeah, at this point, I would have taken out about 80% of of the long, and eventually leave a runner until -4. Well, the only thing really that prevented us from taking this long was the daily fair value gap, the bearish one. And if you look into NQ and ES, well, they are not doing the same. They are not behaving the same way. And yeah, otherwise, in perfect conditions, this would be a clean trade, and this would be a nice run. It would have given us about, if I imagine that I would take it here, stop below, yeah, below the second breaker, just to secure things, and stretch it out to minus 2.5. Yeah, this would have been a 3R almost. And if we stretch it until minus 4, this could have been a 5R, but yeah, that would be risky to try to stretch anything until minus 4, taking the full position to minus 4. So yeah, we had another opportunity here just to enter. This one, if we move this stop to, yeah, there's no need to go below the first presented fair value gap. Yeah, this would have been a 2R, but it is what it is, and we are here to learn and to read price as well. So perfect conditions were not met. That's why. That's why we didn't take this. NQ is still inside this range here. It's just wicked to the upside, and it's struggling to hold now. Probably price is now waiting for the 10-50 macro just to continue to the upside. We will wait about more 10 minutes just to see what it wants to do. But if you look into NQ, it's really weak now. So they are not doing the same. Conditions are not the best, honestly. The price seems to be clean, but if you look into NQ and ES, yeah, there's a lot of differences. And whenever you have differences like this, it means that you are inside of a low probability market. See, NQ just wicked to the downside. You are inside of a low probability market, and whenever you are inside of a low probability market, yeah, you are just risking a lot. So that's why I decided to not take this one here. But yeah, it was clean. If I was not looking into NQ and not looking into higher time frames, yeah, this would have been a really clean setup, honestly. And see where price just stopped right at tick here, minus 2.5 standard deviation. This is a major pit stop. Usually minus 1.5, it's also a smaller pit stop, and price can start to consolidate a little bit. But you should face, and you should keep in mind that whenever price faces minus 2.5 standard deviation, it is it really is a pit stop, and price will eventually stop right here. uh, you can eventually see big candles in this direction, but it doesn't mean that it will continue. It usually stops right at minus 2.5. That's why I told you that you should take out 80% of your position right here. Keep in mind that we could have anticipated, and I really wasn't thinking about it, but given the circumstances now, and given the price is really pushing here to the upside in between 10 and 10.30, a good signature that price will eventually be bullish is that it just retraced to 25% of the opening range gap. So if you switch to um, regular trading hours, you can see that there's a gap here. And whenever there's a gap that's only filled about 25% or eventually 50%, and price just reacts to it in a bullish way, you can eventually consider that price is really bullish and will continue to the upside. So I kind of forgot about that, because and saw it when it was too late. But it is what it is. There are so many things that you need to look up for, so it is normal to miss one of those. Right now I'm on NQ. I see that NQ wants to go lower, while ES is trying to hold here. It already inverted the first fair value gap here. We have another one here, and let's see if this one will get inverted as well. But keep in mind that in a bullish scenario, price will retrace from minus 2.5 to minus 1.5, or eventually minus 1. So keep that in mind as well. Price can really, it accumulated here. This can be some type of a manipulation to the downside, and then we have this and a continuation higher. So keep this in mind, that it can really happen. So in a smaller scale, it should be something like this, where price is just accumulating here. This should be some type of an accumulation. Then price can eventually give us a manipulation to the downside, but in fact what it wants to do is displace higher and distribute higher. So this can be in place right now, since we already moved from minus 2.5 to minus 1.5. So we are already entering the macro time window as well. So this can have some type of a confluence with time as well. See, starting to, seems like it's starting to distribute here. Let's just see here what price really wants to do. Yeah, keep in mind that we are in a premium inside of a daily bearish fair value gap. So in theory, this should work, but since we are in a premium, it's kind of a risky play to the upside. Let me check the 3 minutes. So yeah, guys, while we are waiting and just watching price action, if you're not subscribed yet, yeah, just hit the subscribe button. Give it a like as well. It will help with the engagement to the channel. It will probably bring in more people as well. So I really appreciate if you do that. The more people we are, um, the better it gets, and the easier it gets to learn something and to polish everything that we have been learning as well. So, liking how far price is retracing here, we are inside a macro, so it should deliver a little bit higher. Now we just need a close above this candle here. We still have these relative equal lows here, which are kind of suspicious. And looking into NQ doesn't seem to be this bullish. Price is kind of slow, even inside a macro. It should not. It should not be that slow, even inside a macro. It should give us some momentum. Let me see where the 25% is here on. Yeah, 25% is really here. So yeah, this is a tricky place to place a long here, because we are we are stuck in between the 25% of the weekly CB, which can be a position where price needs some time in before heading higher or eventually going down. See, I don't like how price is not giving us any type of a momentum here. It's just giving us these candles, this barcode, NQ starting to move a bit now. But this is a tricky spot, because if you took a measure in between the midpoint of the CB and its bottom, you can see that price really stopped at 25% of the CB. So it can be a tricky spot here. Price can do something like this, come a little bit higher, taking out this high, and then boom to the downside, because it's gathering a lot of liquidity here below. I can see a lot of people trying to buy here as well. And eventually price will punish everybody who's doing the same thing. So yeah, we missed the best opportunity to get into the market. This was the best entry here, which I called for, but but was not convinced. And yeah, doing what price was doing, I could not trust price action here. That's why I decided to stay away from it. But the read was clean here, and yeah, it kind of stopped to minus 2.5. It was really clean. And here, this is some kind of a tricky spot to be long. It can work, and it's working right now, but as you can see, price is just wicking, because we are entering a tricky spot inside the CB. So it can give us the rest of the move that we wanted to see, but you will work with some probabilities here, and buying in the premium, it's always tricky. So far, we took out the high that was buy side for now, and now let's see if price will still run to the upside or not. Yeah, this is a small range here. Nothing special. The move seems to be big, but yeah, it's not that big, honestly. We just moved 5 handles, so we are not losing that much. Not losing, missing. So price just suppressed um, the 25% mark. As you can see here, it's coming down. It's probably retracing to this fair value gap that's here. and Q already testing the fair value gap here. Let's just see if ES just um, respects it or not. Yeah, this could be eventually another entry, but it's above minus 2.5 standard deviation, so it's a risky play here. The price right now is lacking some energy to the upside, as you can see here. Yeah, and we are finishing the macro as well. So this was the distribution here. Most probably was a, yeah, 5 handle run. Not that big. We can eventually expect to go a little bit higher, but at this point, buying in a premium, it's tricky. Your your entry is just above just above your entry. You have just one fair value gap. You have this order block as well, and you have another order block here. So your stop should be good here. But yeah, buying at a premium, it's always tricky. The price is retracing back down here. Once again, ES and NQ are kind of asymmetrical. So there's nothing that we can do here. Meanwhile, NQ is heading to the upside here. Nice move. Nice push here. Yes, it's trying to follow now. But yeah, guys, I guess we are reaching the end of the stream here. was a nice stream. Tape reading was fine once again. The only thing really that we are missing are the trades. Unfortunately, I was not trusting the market enough to give it a chance here. It was some kind of a clean move, honestly, but given the fact that price was doing all this, and given the fact that NQ and ES were not symmetrical, yeah, I decided to not engage with the market and not give it a shot to eventually punish me. So I decided to stay on the sidelines just to prevent myself from getting hurt. But the read was fine. Honestly, I'm content with the read and proud about it. But yeah, I identified this entry, this one here, and eventually this one as well. This one was a stretched one because price is already in a premium. So I warned you guys that this was the riskiest one. And yeah, it is what it is. I hope that probably today is Thursday, so tomorrow will be Friday. Yeah, I hope that probably the next week we can be actively trading and not just tape reading. But yeah, price has been kind of hard, so I will not put too much pressure whenever price is just giving us this type of action. So yeah, guys, I think I will end the stream here. It was a pleasure once again. Thank you very much for being there. Thank you very much for supporting the stream as well. I hope to see you guys tomorrow. And yeah, that's it, guys. Stay safe. Have a nice afternoon. And yeah, see you tomorrow. Thank you. Thank you very much, guys.